All right, Perry. So we've got them Twitter followers. We've shown them how that they can go out there and find pre-tested content that they don't have to do any work to find. It's out there. Just go and scalp it. So now, kind of the next big step, and this is kind of where the magic happens, right? Is
Ooh, that's like the LA Forum.
ex-
I call it that because that's where the magic happens. Ooh, look, it's a lady.
All right, so there you go. You got a little ladies' man quotes in there. All right, so now we get to step 3, where we're going to talk about blending the disguise content into those tweets. So we showed you how to get, real solid content tweets, and that's good. You need to have that. Now we're going to talk about how you sort of blend in more disguise content, where the sole purpose of this content is to move people from Twitter over to your blog. Right. So you want to move people over, I'm sorry, not to your blog necessarily, move people from Twitter over to your opt-in list. And thank you for the random cow moves. That was... All right, are you done?
Yeah.
All right, good. All right, so
Method for Chick-fil-A.
there's 3 methods that we look at for blending the disguise content. And I kind of have these listed in most passive to most aggressive. And the first method is to tweet content on your blog. So in other words, we talked about this. If you find some neat content that you like, as opposed to tweeting directly to that content, which Perry showed you how to do in the last video, just copy and paste the URL into Twitter, boom, tweet it out. That's good, all right? That's something that's worth doing, and you're going to do that for a lot of your content. But if there's something that's really, really, really good, a better way to do it...
And don't be freaked, by the way, if your opt-in rate on your blog is not extremely high. Opt-in rates on blogs are notoriously low.
Yeah.
But by using this method that Ryan's telling you, you send probably 50 times more traffic to your blog than would normally come. So even though the opt-in rate is low, you're blowing your traffic to your blog up.
Yeah, and there's a lot of repeat traffic that comes that has already opted in, and so they're not going to opt in again. So it's sort of, it's going to show your opt-in rate on your blog is going to show lower than it really is. And we're going to talk about actually a tip for boosting that. But so the idea is you've got there's some blog content. Somebody else's, so we'll call this third party. This is a third party blog, and they've got some good content. Now, what Perry described earlier, and what is a good thing to do, and what you will do this on occasion, but you want to every now and then. So what Perry described is tweeting directly to the third-party blog. So that's if you just want to send pure content, hey, here's some good stuff, then you want to do that. Now, what we're suggesting up here for method 1 is instead of tweeting directly to the blog, what you want to do is put in an intermediate step where you first tweet to your blog, and you just simply do a blog post about this blog post that sends them over to this blog. Now, the reason you want to do that is that on your blog, you should have an opt-in form. Okay, and we're gonna show you some examples. So that's method number 1.
A lot of times where I use this too, by the way, not to interrupt, I'm sorry.
No, feel free.
But a lot of times I will do a video. I'll shoot a little video about a blog post.
That's a really good
tip. And you can embed the video into your blog, so you don't have to spend a lot of time writing. And then you're changing the modality of it. You said, hey, I just read it. I was just over driving traffic at Ryan Dice's blog, and I just read this article that he wrote about blankety blank. Here's what I got out of it. I got this, this, and this, but I have to disagree with him on this point or that point. But, you might want to go check out the blog article or, go opt into my page over here for more videos like this.
Yeah, and actually, you know what? I did that just recently. What I want to do is I want to pause the video right now and show you an example of how I did that on my blog. So bear with me 1 second. I'm going to pause this. This sort of impromptu. I didn't even think to do this. I'll pause this and pull up an example real quick for you. All right, so we have now ported over from the handouts over to my blog. So here we are at drivingtraffic.com, and I did exactly when you said what you said there, Perry, about doing a video about somebody else's blog post. That is exactly what I did. A buddy of mine, Ed Dale, did a blog post about ditching all of his Facebook friends, about unfriending all of his Facebook friends.
And that's a secret trick how Ryan framed his face in quotation marks. That's a secret psychological NLP trick. That actually, those aren't fingers; those are actually antennas.
Yeah, they force you to buy by doing that. Right. That's actually totally untrue. It was kind of a cool place for the video to have stopped, but that was just by total randomness. Anyway, so what I did was I actually did a video of I went over to Ed's blog and I actually kind of read his blog post and said, yes, I agree with this part. I love what he said here. Ooh, I don't know about this. And I used an application that you can only use with Mac that's called ScreenFlow. ScreenFlow. I think you just do a search for ScreenFlow, you'll see it. That's what allowed me to have this picture, be able to have a sort of a picture-in-picture where my thing was in there. Really, this part isn't necessary. Okay, you don't have to do that.
It's probably actually better without it.
Yeah, I mean, you could go. Thank you, Perry. You could go over to. You could just use Camtasia, or gosh, here's another even better
Jing
one.
do that now?
Yeah. Go over to jingproject.com, jingproject.com, and Jing is basically a free version of Camtasia where it's all online.
They even host it for you.
Yeah, they host it for you.
But you can only put it up for what? 10 minutes is the max or something.
Yeah, but that's
like
really all you need. I mean, this video right here. Well, now I'm going to be like 50 minutes long. Now, but this one's 4 minutes and 25 seconds. So, anyway, the idea was Ed posted a really neat, compelling video. And the key is that it was very controversial. So he was talking about ditching his Facebook friends. And so I said, should I unfriend my Facebook friends like Ed Dale? So it was kind of a very controversial thing. So what I could have done was just send all the traffic over to Ed and written an email or written a blog, done a Twitter message that said, should I unfriend my Facebook friends like Ed Dale? And then posted to Ed's deal. And that would have been good. But what's better is shooting my own video, posting it on my blog, I still link to him. And that's key. If you're going to reference somebody else's blog post, you absolutely still need to link to their blog post. You need to do that. But if you notice, what's on this page is an opt-in form in the upper right-hand corner. And again, this is all shrunk down, so normally it's a lot, it's all above the fold and everything. But there's an opt-in form here, and then there's another kind of little banner ad over here that takes people to a different opt-in form. But the idea is, I basically am piggybacking off of Ed's really cool content. I just did a short little video, and there's nothing to it. I just basically went over to his blog page, read his blog post, gave my opinion on it, and then said, go check out that thing. But now I'm able to tweet to this page. I'm able to tweet to my own blog where there's my opt-in page, okay? So that's kind of the big point that I want to get across, and that's a really good example of it. All right, so that's a really good example of, we're back here over at the handouts again. That's a really good example of this method right here, and I'll show you another method. But again, this is the most passive. Absolutely nobody's going to complain about any of this. You're delivering good content, but of all the methods, it's going to get you the lowest opt-in rate. All right, those are just the facts. Out of all these methods, it's going to get you the lowest opt-in rate. Now, method number 2 is something that we discovered kind of by accident. And that is tweeting to a webinar or teleseminar registration. Now, the cool thing about tweeting to a webinar or teleseminar registration is everybody's okay with it. Like, people will get excited about it because you can actually, and we'll show you an example of this in just a second, you can actually go and say, hey, I'm about to get on a webinar right now. Go ahead, register real quick. It's going to start in 20 minutes. So you can be very current with it. But what is a webinar or a teleseminar registration page? It's just an opt-in page. That's all that it is. I mean, yes, people are opting in, but I mean, it's just another form of a squeeze page. It's just the lead magnet happens to be access to a webinar or teleseminar as opposed to download a free report or watch this free video. Now, so that's method number 2, and we'll show you some examples of that in just a second. Now, method number 3 violates...
I'm going to step out the room for a few minutes.
Perry has 2 kind of hard and fast rules when it comes to Twitter, and he talks about this in the social media money system and a lot of things where he says don't tweet to sales letters and don't tweet to squeeze pages. And I'm trying to build long-lasting relationships, build celebrity, build a position for myself. It depends on how you look at Twitter and Facebook and all that. Yeah. And honestly, if you're going to do what I do, you have to make a committed effort. Yeah.
It's a little more, I'm trying to build national celebrity, get book deals, TV deals, stuff like that. And you don't see Oprah out on her commercials going, hey, this is Oprah Winfrey. I want you to go buy these corn chips right now. These are really good corn chips. She won't directly endorse any product at all.
Right.
She absolutely refuses. They'll run commercials, but she won't directly endorse anything. And they do that on purpose because in building her celebrity, she needs to always seem to be
well, there is a risk.
objective.
There is a risk, and I mean, there is a risk in direct endorsement. One is that you do lose objectivity, and the other thing is that if what you're recommending, either you haven't done enough research, which isn't good, or just for whatever reason it goes bad, then people are going to hold you accountable.
Yeah. I don't go Oprah on nobody. But what I do is I require the people that I send out. If somebody sends me, and I get the occasionally, like every 10 minutes, I get something going, hey man, will you promote this? And I always respond back to the same thing. Do you have some valuable content that you can give my list first to show that, to give them a good understanding of what you do and why they should take a look at your stuff. If somebody comes back and says, yeah, I got these videos, I got this webinar, I got these handouts, I got this whatever, then I'll consider it. But without valuable content, I never want to send people directly to hey, have you ever bought a car from a guy and it was just a painful process and the end of the thing goes, hey, do you have 5 friends you can recommend to me? Well, hell no. That 5 friends I can lose, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So no, you never want to do that. So
well, and getting along with the going back to the Oprah model, however you feel about Oprah, I myself am not a fan, but I am a fan of her how she does business. But the thing that I will say about Oprah, she does these where she gives away all the free stuff, like Oprah's Favorite Things shows, where she's like, everybody gets gum, everybody gets this CD, and everybody gets a car. Those kind of things where she just gives away a ton of free stuff. In that's kind of like what you said, where she'll tell these vendors, hey, look, I'm not going to personally endorse it necessarily, but if you want to give my audience a bunch of free stuff, I'm not going to stop you. So that's kind of the same. That's sort of the same sort of thing. But again, that's Perry's philosophy, and God bless him. It absolutely works for him, and it works for his model. But again, remember what I'm trying
Ryan's
to do.
more into rack 'em, sack 'em, and pack 'em. I'm kidding.
No, but what I am into is...
he does pick up a lot of shake that I'll leave.
I am absolutely into moving people off of Twitter and onto my opt-in list as quickly and efficiently as possible. And the single most effective way, the single most efficient way to drive somebody from Twitter to an opt-in list is to tweet to a squeeze page. Now, you need to be careful about the way you do it. You don't want to do it all the time. And actually, I say that it's the most effective. Really, we probably generate more registrations to teleseminars than we do opt-ins when we send to a squeeze page. Is that right, Perry?
Oh, gosh, yes.
Yeah. So
by multiples.
Really, number 2 is the most effective. So if you're going to go with Perry's rule and only do 1 and 2, this method will still work. But the thing is, you're only going to be doing so many webinars and teleseminars, right? And yeah, you can do replays and things like that. But having squeeze pages that you can tweet to is going to be a great way to extract Twitter followers and get them on your opt-in list. So my recommendation and the way that I do things is I absolutely do tweet to squeeze pages, and I'll show you some examples of that along with all the other ones in the next set of videos.